Come on down. There's some seats here, and it's 7 p.m. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Let's give ourselves a round of applause for being on time. Class of 2026, welcome to your college kickoff. Today's the day where we begin officially. Welcome to senior year. I am Jack, one of your counselors, and this is Miss Soyeon.
Miss Soyeon, nice to meet you all.
Let's give her a warm welcome to our community. Yes. Please scan for a Korean translation of the presentation. Here we have this for everyone who want it. And we'll start with an opening prayer. Lead us, Miss Soyeon.
Yes, I'll just give 5 more seconds to scan the QR code so that we can focus on the prayer part. Okay, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us tonight, this evening, as one community. We are grateful for the gift of family and for each parent here whose love, commitment, and sacrifice reflect your own care for us. Continue to strengthen them with patience, wisdom, and joy as they walk alongside their children. We lift up to you the TCIS class of 2026 as they step into the season of application, choices, and new opportunities. Remind them that their worth is rooted in you. Guide their steps, calm their anxiety, and give them courage and follow the purpose you have prepared for them. May they experience your peace in the waiting for your presence in every decision. Bless our gathering tonight. Let it be a time of encouragement, unity, and hope as we support one another. We place our trust in your unfailing love, knowing that you hold our future securely in your hands. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Soyeon. This is your college application team. As I said, I am Jack, one of the counselors, and this is Ms. Soyeon. She's our new college counselor who's in charge of students whose last names are from L to Z. And we have Ms. Bomi over there at the back. Ms. Bomi, say hi. And we have Ms. Pam, who is our registrar. All official documents come from Ms. Pam Kang. And we have also Ms. Gail over there in the corner. Ms. Gail, say hi. She's our secondary principal, and she's also the co-head of our team, our counseling team this year, alongside Ms. Ree, who everybody knows. Ms. Ree is our co-head of our counseling team this year as well. She is away with grade 9s and 10s for retreat. Here's our agenda for tonight. We have our handouts. We're going to talk about the handouts that you received, our monthly to-dos, our terminologies and technicalities, senior year reminders, and parent reminders. But before the reminders, we have our special guest, Education USA, phoning in from Seoul office to talk to you about education in the US of A. And in addition to that, we are going to break down all the things that are in the handouts so that you know what's in there and what are the important things and dates that we need to talk about as we go along our journey together in the application season in your senior year here at TCIS. All right, let's now have Ms. Soyeon go through what our year will look like month by month.
Yes, before I go over this, I want you to be aware of it, that all the detailed data or dates are on your handbook. So please make sure that you access to it, which is a living document. So if you make any adjustment regarding the deadline, we'll also be updating on the handbook as well. So keep it in mind. But very briefly, in August, which we are right now, we are going through the 21st Class of 2026 kickoff right now. And next week, we have 28th University Application Agreement Form due, which you can check on your packet today. And also SAT registration. There are some dates that we put there so that if you need to take SAT, don't forget to sign up for those dates. And coming later in September, there is university list due. That's due the 5th. So I'm sure you're working on it as well. And
Everybody knows when's the final list due date?
when is it?
What? Yes, very good.
Thank you very much. You're listening very carefully. And there's coming up another important date for September 15th. That's our essay deadline. So we want to make sure that your essay is really good quality and reflects your academic success and your potential. So make sure to spend some time on your essays. And coming up October, some applications opens at the very beginning of October, so be mindful about those who are applying. And round one grade on October 3rd, but we're going to talk about it a little later. And there are some other deadlines coming up. October 10th, I know this is at the end of our Korean Thanksgiving break, but this is a priority deadline. So meaning, for those who are applying early category, you guys have the deadline of October 10th. And so as later on, our published deadline, application-wise, is the 15th, so it's like only a few days apart, so be mindful about that. And in November, you all know ED, EA application deadlines coming up on the 1st, so as later on the UC application deadline. So those are really, really important for those who are applying to the US and particularly UC. And December, of course, we are waiting for the winter break, but before the winter break comes, there are a few things that you have to be keeping in mind. December 1st, the essays due for your later application. So if you're applying to colleges over the winter break or like January, for example, then make sure that you're keeping those deadlines in December. And our deadline on the 1st and the 11th is the most important part, but on the 15th, why do you think we made it red? That's because that's important, right? So final deadline due, maybe you cannot really see because we are blocking it, but this is final deadline for winter break apps, the ultimate deadline.
The good thing is, all of these deadlines are in your packet. They may be digital, but they're all going to be reminded to you as they come along. They're all in the Google Classroom. They're all going to be slated on Maya Learning, which we will discuss later on. They're all going to be on your own personal university list document. So it's all going to be communicated to you and your parents. So everyone is going to have a copy of all these deadlines. We're all going to be in it together. So no one is going to miss any of these deadlines as long as we all agree that those are the deadlines that you will be meeting. Is that understood? Raise your thumbs up right now. Okay. I know that it's overwhelming when you see it in one go, but I promise we're all going to communicate all these deadlines clearly and early. Okay, so now let's go, thank you, Ms. Oyon. Now let's go to terminologies and technicalities. With the University Application Agreement, TCIS transcript request, TCIS priority deadlines and published deadlines, what's really the difference? And all the other things that you may not know or hear about most that we have discussed with your students, especially for the parents, in the last semester. Let's go to University Application Agreement. So in your handout, we all have this University Application Agreement. Parents and students must sign this university agreement. We're going to talk about each section right now. So The first part of the university application agreement is integrity in university applications. So you should really read each part of those because that's what you're signing up for. So when you're applying with TCIS for this, for the applications to colleges and universities, you are signing this contract and agreement that you are doing it so with integrity, honesty, and an understanding that you are waiving your right to review the recommendations that are submitted on your behalf. Remember when you requested your recommendations from your teachers, you cannot see those because you are trusting that your teachers know you and are going to speak highly of you. We are also going to review what those recommendations look like and what those recommendations mean to universities, especially to the US. The maximum number of university applications at TCIS is 12, and there's a reason why that is so. That's also in the agreement. Final university list, again, is due on September 5th. Any changes after September 5th will have to be approved by the college counseling team, including the heads of the counseling department and the secondary admin. Early decision obligations also are very important to note because those are signed by you, your parents, as well as TCIS. So we'll all discuss all of this in our individual meetings, as well as they're all stipulated in the agreement that you are going to sign. Essays and statements, September 15 is the deadline for early deadline for the drafts. It doesn't mean that these are the final essays. These are just the deadlines for us to be able to give you feedback in a timely manner. Transcript request forms are forms, Google Forms. You can click on these links that are in the presentation, which we will give you tomorrow. We will give you a copy of the whole presentation so that you can refer back to it anytime. Transcript request forms are due a week before published deadlines. So a rule of thumb is that it's a week before the published deadline. But for the most part, for EA and ED, it's October 10th, so that we don't miss any important things. Winter deadlines, December 15th, so that we also don't miss any important dates. TCIS DP College Counselor responsibilities also stipulated in the agreement. It says that we are obliged to report any misrepresentation or any lapse of integrity at any part of the application process that we find out about. All right, we're also going to talk about the maximum of 12 applications. UCs and UCAS each count as one. So if you're unfamiliar with UCs and UCAS, we can also discuss those in our individual meetings. But for now, UCs is the University of California system, UCAS is the UK. The max number is not a recommended number, it's just the maximum. You don't have to fill in up to the maximum, it's just the maximum. Each application takes a tremendous amount of time. That's why the quality of application may decrease if applying to more than 12. A lot or 90 or maybe 80% of our TCIS alumni have been super successful with less than 12 applications, actually. Appeal process is only considered under special circumstances and very unusual circumstances. Please seek feedback for the college essays, rough drafts, and final drafts. We are experts, a combined maybe 20 years of experience in the college counseling industry. So please seek feedback from your expert college counselors over here. We're here to help you. We will never run out of time for you unless you're applying by the deadline, which is a no-no. That's why we have our TCIS priority deadline. That's why we have our deadlines really set so that we have enough time for each and every one of you. We have the luxury of meeting you at least once a month, which not a lot of schools in Korea nor all over the world can say. So that's why it's good you're here. So please take advantage of that. That's definitely something unique. Be proactive, start early, pace yourself, and set realistic goals. College essays, drafts, and feedback form already in Google Classroom. Turn in final drafts, all essays whose deadlines fall within winter break by December 1st so that we can still have time, about 2 weeks to adjust. Final polishing touches, final touches. We keep a copy of all essays that students submit to universities to ensure that they have written what they say they have written. All right, TCIS transcript. I know I'm going a little faster, but please be reminded that everyone is welcome to set individual meetings. So if you have additional questions, please feel free to set those meetings, and actually those are highly encouraged. We will always ask students to verify that everything on the document is correct before we submit it to colleges and universities. All right, so here, the TCIS transcript. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask those questions. We have all of the high school grades in the transcripts. The weighted GPA is the one that's reported. A cumulative weighted GPA is also available on the transcript. All of the courses taken and its official names are there and are calculated into the GPA. Courses taken outside of TCIS are not calculated into the GPA, but credits are. Transcripts include a computation of all credits earned from grades 9 up to present. Mid-year transcript in January, TCIS will automatically send those to colleges in the applying list on Maya Learning, and final transcript will only be sent when requested from Maya Learning. We will all cover these again in our individual meetings and will be sent to you via email in form of procedures. Again, important deadlines to note. October 10th, as a rule of thumb, early application deadline unless otherwise agreed upon. So if there are deadlines that are a week before the published deadlines, those are agreed upon by counselor and student. November 24 for UCs and December 1 deadlines, these are pretty much set. December 11 as a priority deadline for winter break deadline, meaning you get more feedback earlier, and December 15 as a final deadline for all winter break deadlines. January 8th for all January 15 published deadlines, and a week before for all other rolling deadlines. So again, everything will be emailed to you as a final list option, so no one is confused, because I know that it's a little bit overwhelming.
can I give a quiz at this moment to the students? And maybe for those who win, we'll get a snack from our
All right,
office?
let's do it.
Okay. Well, Jack, I'm applying to University of Michigan with ED. That's due November 1st. When should I give you my essay by so that I can get really thorough feedback? Anybody with the answer, please raise your hand. Please, anybody?
Danny. Is that correct?
Is that correct?
Is it correct?
Is that correct? Are you sure?
It is. Yes.
All right, please come, Danny, to the office tomorrow so that we can give you a snack. Thank you.
Good job. Yay. All right. What is October 10th? Aside from being my birthday.
Happy birthday.
What is October 10th? Yes, Hyun-san. Good job. When is the published deadline for Oxbridge? There you go. She knows.
You deserve a snack as well, so please
Two
come tomorrow.
prizes for her. All right, let's move on. Thank you so much for your audience participation. Published deadline versus priority deadline. As you can see, no, you can't see, but here, application deadlines for published deadlines, those are deadlines that follow time zone of the institution, and all applicants will want to beat rushing and haphazardly submit those applications. So what do you think is sacrificed? Maybe the quality, maybe it's super last minute. Technological glitches are unavoidable here, and there's no allowance for any errors. That's why we came up with TCIS priority deadline, which are comfortable deadlines that allow ample time for review, taking time, celebrating timeliness, right? It's just beautiful. Processing is thoughtful and precise. Excellent. Technological glitches can be managed, right, Sion? And it has allowance for any unforeseen errors because we can advocate for you. Remember, procrastination on your part does not constitute an emergency on our part. That's what all counselors from all over the world says. Now let's go to Google Classroom. We'll rush through this because it's really the things that we've discussed last semester. So I'm just gonna go ahead and define all of these things because you can refer to them on the slides. So Google Classroom, it's called Class of 2026. All of the students are there. The college counseling team is there, including Ms. Gail. So everybody sees the assignments, reminders, tasks, exercises, scores, but everybody sees all the submissions. The teacher sees those, but not the students. You only see yours. All of your data is protected, so don't be alarmed. Maya Learning is the platform we use to transmit documents electronically. It's linked with Common App and Parchment. Maya Learning is also a search engine for universities. So if you want to know statistics behind each university, please use that. We can also talk about that in our individual meetings. Rec letters and brag sheets, these are done last year. I want you to know we've checked everything. Everybody has at least one or up to 2 or 3 recommendation letters. Brag sheets are all good, amazing. Rec letters, all good. Common App, UCAS, StudyLink, OWAC, and other portals. These are portals that are used to apply to university programs. So if you're not familiar with any of these, please feel free to ask your questions when we have those sessions, or you can email us so we can give you a lowdown on any of the things that are unfamiliar. Portals and essays. These are also resources that your students should be aware of, and essays are part of the portals that allow students to communicate their understanding of themselves to universities that are not test scores, but long answers to questions that universities pose to students. So they are given a prompt and they answer those prompts with paragraphs and statements that allow them to communicate their thoughts or their understanding of themselves in statements. Important dates and things. So here is this is the handout that we have there, which lists down all of the important dates and other links that you should be familiar with. The digital copy has all of the links and resources that you can just click on so that you can familiarize yourself with all of those, like testing, registration, those portals and essay prompts, those kinds of things. You can also see down here that there are dates for the estimated grades. There are 3 rounds of estimated grades and where they come from, what they're based on. So for the first estimated round, it's October 3rd. That's based on the junior grades, so that's for early application. The December 5th one is based on the junior grades and the first quarter performance. And the March one is on a rolling basis as needed. We'll determine those with them as their counselors. We'll let you know when your students have access to those grades as needed based on their university list. So you will also have access to those as parents, through your students. All right, Ms. Soyon.
Yes, just a reminder before we jump into more application side. Poor planning is a reflection on one's personal value. I don't want to say poor planning, but just make sure not enough planning is also a reflection of it too. So let's just plan together. If you're curious, if you're like unsure, make sure you're visiting your counselor and talk about it, okay? Okay? Thank you. So let's go to handbook. How many of you have opened it? Opened your handbook? Thank you. Just one person? 2, 3, 4, maybe a little bit over there. Thank you. For those, just a nice reminder, if you haven't opened it up, make sure that you open it up to get all this really important information. You'll get to know about us, test code, class information, important dates, search tools, standardized testing tools, or application terminology, essays, and frequently asked questions. So I'm just going to go over very briefly for each country's requirement and something that you need to prepare. First thing is standardized testing. English proficiency test is one of the important things, and we strongly recommend all students, regardless of your nationality, take English proficiency test because every school's requirement is different. And if you've been overseas in a country where English is not the predominant language, you might be asked to submit a score. So make sure to take one of these scores, TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. Some schools have different requirements. They may not take Duolingo. So make sure to check with each one of the website. If you're not sure, who should we reach out? Counselors, thank you so much. This is just a code. I believe everybody's prepared, but for those who are still looking for the TOEFL test to be taken, I see some people. Okay, all right, fine, that's fine. There's a code for you. It's TOEFL IHAC 15. I'm sorry, because I went to International ACAC in July, and that's why I have it prepared late. I'm sorry. But for those who need it, you can do it. You can share with your sisters, brothers, whoever is younger. All right. And for those who are applying to US as well, there are two different standardized tests, SAT and ACT. Each school's different, so some schools will require SAT, some will not. We will wisely take the route of optional SAT if needed, but if you are applying to a college that requires SAT, you must take it. And good luck to those who are taking this weekend. Fighting. And then we'll share the PowerPoint slide, and if you click this hyperlink, you'll see the school list with optional, but again, remember to check with each one of the websites for the accurate information, okay? Thank you. And for the US as well, SAT, ACT, it doesn't matter which one you take. So take the one that you feel the most comfortable and confident. It just says we wanna be open. SAT, we do offer here the location, so you'll be taking the test at where you feel comfortable, like your regular class setting. So this will be a plus. For ACT, you'll probably have to go to a different city to take it, maybe Seoul or Jeju. So that's a part. And the next one, country specific. I know some of you may not apply none of these schools. I do understand. Maybe for some of those who are very concerned, always reach out to your counselor. But we'll just go through these countries. Canada, don't assume anything about requirements. What I mean is, each of the schools may be very different. You might have heard about OYAC. That's a website. It's like Ontario Region like application portal. It's like Common App. University of Toronto use this. But for example, University of British Columbia, it's not Ontario, so it uses different portal. You may apply with institutional application, or you may use a different one. So that's just something. And here, I want to highlight this, apply early. I'm sorry, yes, apply early is really important. So for those applying to Canada, make sure to reach out to the counselor early in advance. The next is UK. The most important thing here is get the buzzword TCAS 2026. And for those who didn't connect it yet, make sure your UCAS account is linked with the TCIS buzzword. And then we'll be able to go and upload on behalf of you regarding the documents and everything. There is a limit, which is 5 programs, but we can talk about it during our individual meetings. Personal statement, its style is slightly different from the US, so we'll be also looking at those motivations, your preparedness for the course, or your curriculum or extracurricular activities that you've done, and we're gonna emphasize those along with your character and your reason to do those in the future. Important deadline again, I know you're like kind of sick of deadline, but more reminder, maybe it will stick your head, October 15th. And TCAS internal is October 10th. And the other application besides like Oxford, Cambridge, and medical dental area, that's January 14th. And our deadline between 8th to 10th of January. And a few other countries, Hong Kong and Australia. For Hong Kong, apply in the fall directly to the school, like by its like program. Full DP with some specific course requirement will be applied for you. So make sure to talk to your counselor about this as well. And the personal statement will also help you to get it ready. And for Australia, they will be a little timeline is a little different. So depending on what kind of program you want to go into, maybe apply in spring, maybe apply a little later. The terms are a little different, so we'll be talking about it. There are a few programs that's only offered in certain terms that we're gonna follow with that guidance. And full DP required with some program-specific courses requirement as well. And foundation program might be available for those who feel like you need a little extra time. and going to some other countries as well. For Europe, I know some of you are planning to apply through StudyLink, and I'm gonna help those students as well. Each country is a little different. So for those who are applying to Netherlands, will be somewhat different from Belgium, for example. So this is something you will need to inform your counselor in advance so that your counselor can walk along with you. For Korea, I know this year we have quite a few students who are interested in Korea. In addition to us, we also have Ms. Ri, who is professional and helping you with the Korean application. So make sure also to stop by to your counselor as well as Ms. Ri. And US, this is a big one, right? But we are gonna have Education USA to speak about this. So we're gonna wait a little bit and then we'll have, they are here. Okay, tech thing, all good? Can we just switch? Awesome. Well, maybe this is a good time to welcome them with a big round of applause. I hope they can hear, I'm not sure, but we're just gonna welcome them. Okay, well, while we are taking care of this, I guess I just want to tell you one thing. I know, at least from the meetings I've had with each one of you, everybody seems to be very nervous, especially for essay and everything. Some of you guys mentioned about, oh, I'm getting my SAT ready, but I'm still not enough. Like, oh, I'm like barely starting with essay. What can I do? Or like some other concerns. I hear a lot of those, but I want to tell you one thing. Realistically speaking, we don't have a lot of time, right? Then, I don't want you to be like panicking about those, but focus on what you're really good at, okay? What did I say? Focus on what? Yeah, something you're very good at. Thank you. I believe you all have potentials, so just focus on those areas and talk to your counselor about your concern, anything. Thank you so much, and we're gonna welcome Education USA. Are they here? Hello.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Wow.
Okay, I actually can't hear anything from from you yet, so but I can get started if it's okay.
Yes, please go ahead if you can hear me, otherwise you're good to go.
Hello, everyone. Can I just get a wave from the audience if you can hear me okay? Hello, great, fantastic. My name is Vincent Flores, you can call me Vinny. I am here with my colleague Minjae Beck, if you want to say hello on the screen.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. It's good to see you, everyone, virtually for us.
Great, and I'm going to share my screen right now. So again, my name is Vincent Flores. You can call me Vinny. I'm the regional manager or REAC for Northeast Asia and the Pacific for Education USA. And I know there are a bunch of things that they want us to talk about. We can't cover it all in one meeting, but we're going to do our best to give you some things that will help you make your next decisions, and then also you can contact us, and you have a fantastic team over there at TCIS. So I do want to say congratulations, because all of you are really getting information early and quickly, probably better information than most American students are getting right now as well. So definitely props and everything to to Jack and the team over there, because I know you're getting great information. I was listening into part of it. I wish I had had such good preparation when I was applying for schools. So I like to ask this question: how many colleges and universities are there in the United States? And usually, if I could see you, I'd do sort of an auction style and try to see what your guesses are. But there are over 4,000, probably around, we like to say around 4,700. So there's a lot, but and a lot of choices to make. But I think one thing you could feel good about is that there must be a school that's good for you if there are that many institutions in the United States. So today, by the end of my part of the presentation and with additional planning, you should be able to discuss the types of colleges and universities with your parents, with your counselors, and weigh the pros and cons. You should be able to explain the different types of admissions options because there are so many in the United States. And you should be able to narrow down your fall application options. So these are kind of your goals for this presentation. Education USA is a U.S. Department of State network of advising centers around the world. We have over 500 advisors and over 400 centers in over 170 countries. And we offer accurate, comprehensive, and current information about studying in the United States. So we are not a paid service. We offer accurate information to students around the world, regardless of nationality. And our advisor, Min-Jae Baek, and other advisors around the region are happy to help you. So if you need additional help, please contact us. We'll make sure that you get contact information. So U.S. higher education, sorry, let me advance this a little bit. So U.S. higher education, we have different types of institutions. You may have heard of some of these. I'll go over these quickly because I think most of you are focused on certain types of schools. But I don't want to dismiss community colleges, which are two-year institutions, and many of you may be interested to know that you can go for 2 years to a community college, save lots of money, and have a seamless transfer to a 4-year institution. So if you want to know more about that, let us know. There are baccalaureate colleges, which offer 4-year degrees, which is your next step for most of you. Master's colleges or universities that offer mainly master's degrees and maybe some doctoral degrees. Then doctoral universities, which offer PhDs and other types of doctoral degrees. And then special focus schools like medical schools and law schools, business schools. So again, we have the community colleges. So many of you may hear about research universities. And I think as you navigate the different types of institutions, there are a few things to think about. But I think more important than what type of institution is it a good fit for you? So I will talk about some of the distinctions, but really think about what your goals are. And so a research university, for example, has anywhere from moderate to extensive research, usually offering PhDs. And they have different tiers of these, like R1, R2, R3. So a research university, if you see like an R1, then they're offering, they do extensive research, for example. But that doesn't mean that a smaller institution does not do research. Actually, most colleges and universities have some sort of research going on. So I think one of the questions is it important to go to a research university? What is it that you want to do? What are your goals? What type of research is going on, and is that important to you? Is probably more important than just the type of institution. We have liberal arts colleges, which I'll talk about more in a second, but these offer generally a more sort of varied options for you. You can explore different types of fields and then make a decision. And then we also have minority serving institutions. So if that's important to you, for example, an Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institution, or historically Black serving institution, or etc. We do have those as well. And that doesn't mean anyone can go to these, but historically they may be serving, or they may be designated in this way because they serve a certain demographic. So really quick about liberal arts education and liberal arts colleges. So most education programs in the United States follow a liberal arts system, which means that generally in the first 2 years, you're doing general education, you're learning math and arts and sciences, and each institution will have requirements that you have to take. And this is because we understand that even though some of you know what you want to do, or you have some idea of what you want to do, at 17, 18, 19 years old, you may not be ready to make a definitive decision on what you want to do for the rest of your life. So we offer a chance for you to explore different things and make a decision, usually by the junior year. And that's what a liberal arts education is about. So even if you're going to a research institution, a liberal arts college, even a community college, you will usually be part of this liberal arts education system. The differences would be if you go to a school that's focused on the arts or performing arts, you may not have to do some of those liberal arts general education requirements. Or if you're going into a STEM program, it may be very exclusively focused on STEM. But generally, most schools have a liberal arts education system. But a liberal arts college, and again, in the United States, we have to say that it depends, because there can be so many variations. But generally, we think of liberal arts colleges as smaller, although there are big ones that have tens of thousands, more than 10,000 students. Generally, we think of them as smaller, possibly having smaller class size. We think of them as a little bit more focused on undergraduate education, although many of them will have higher degrees like masters and PhDs. The focus on teaching is solid among what we call liberal arts college. They really focus on the teaching. So although you may have professors who are going out and doing research, they will be in the classroom with you. In a research institution or a very big school, you may have over 100 or 200 students in a basic level class, and then a teacher's assistant will come in and teach the class. That's usually not the case in a liberal arts college. Liberal arts colleges also offer you the opportunity to try kind of everything. So one of the extreme cases I've heard of is one liberal arts college in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. A student double majored in biomedical engineering and dance. And usually you just can't do that. It's, that's a little bit, beyond what most schools can accommodate. But liberal arts colleges encourage you to try different things. And some of them, so a liberal arts college, again, smaller class size, focused on teaching, and then you can customize your education, and then try different types of things. And so definitely look that up. But also remember, no matter what type of institution you choose, most likely you'll be able to kind of get a taste of everything and make a decision by your junior year on your major. So you may have heard some of these different terms, and I have to admit that these terms change every year. And I was talking to a colleague from a U.S. institution just a couple of weeks ago, and they're thinking of adding another thing to this list of definitions. But generally, we have a regular decision. So that means there's a deadline. You have to submit your application by that deadline. Schools that have rolling admissions mean that you can submit that application not necessarily at any time, but it means that they receive the application and they evaluate as they come in. So rolling admissions schools may have an application deadline that kind of runs really close to the summer, or even really close to the first day of classes. So community colleges, for example, are often on rolling admissions. Early action is a non-binding agreement. So that means you will submit an application early, and they will give you a decision whether you're admitted or not admitted, but you don't have to necessarily go. So it's a non-binding, means like you don't promise, you don't put any money down. So it just means that the decision will come early. Early decision is binding. So you basically promise to enroll. You may have to submit a deposit and say that you are definitely going to attend that school. So again, very similar to early action, you submit an application early. They give you a decision, but with early decision, you basically must go to that institution. And there are ways that, they can't force you to go to a school, obviously, but you are making sort of a contractual agreement to go. And then there are variations. There's so many variations these days. Early decision 1 and 2, for example, they could be different deadlines. This might mean that maybe if you're doing early decision, generally it's your first choice, you really want to go, but maybe you can't get the application ready in time, or you just need a little bit more time to think about things, so they may have a second deadline. Restrictive early action is something, or single choice, or different variations. It may mean that you can do early action, so you submit an application early, but they may require that you only choose one. You only do one early action application. And then there are others. There are so many others. You may have to apply to, it may say like you can apply to our school and you can apply to a public institution. So there's so many variations of this. So I think the most important thing, even as I go through these, is that at the bottom, read the fine print and make a chart. So definitely read every school, because even though I can give you a definition and a document about this, but every school is going to have a very specific definition. So I just ran through some of these to get examples. They're all very, very different. A question that we get is applying early better? So statistically, they often say that early decision statistically, there are higher chances of getting in, but it doesn't mean that you should just do early decision or early action because it's easier to get in. Because generally, the people that do early decision or early action are very well prepared. They really want to go. So not only, it's not that the chances are higher, it's that the people that apply for it are better prepared. And they really want to go. They've got every bit of their application ready to go. So statistically, yes, it's higher, but also statistically, we have more people who are ultra prepared for those admissions. But I do encourage you to, if you really want to apply early action or decision, if there's a place that you're very passionate about and you really want to go, then it's something to think about for sure. But also, please don't forget about other requirements, because although we have, for example, the common application or a general application that you have to submit, there may be other requirements. So if you're applying to an engineering program, they may ask you to do a different type of test, or to supply different documents. If you're doing an arts or performing arts program, you may have to supply an audition tape, or you may have to like send additional materials, like a creative portfolio or something like that. So you really have to go into the fine print and look at every school individually, because there are probably other hidden deadlines that you have to look at. So again, that question, should I apply early? I would say this is kind of my guide to it. It's very general, but I like to say, one, do you have a top choice? Like, is there a place that you're passionate and you really want to go there and your heart says that I need to be there? Then maybe you should apply early. But can you explain and prove why you should go there? Can you really say definitively why I want to go there? And is your answer different from why I want to go to the second, third, or fourth choice? If that answer is really different and you can explain and show, not tell, but show why you want to go to that institution, then maybe you should apply early. Are your requirements ready? So do you have enough, do you have your testing ready? Are you satisfied with your test scores? Do you have all of the other requirements? If you're applying to an art school, do you have all of the tapes and the creative portfolios, or do you have all of your essays ready to go? And I think a good question is, not only can you meet the requirements for early, but can you be proud of your application once you submit it? Because it will be very early. If you do regular decision, you'll have more time to write the essay and everything. But I would advise, don't submit an early decision or early action application unless you feel that you can be proud of it. That's a kind of a good guideline. Can I get everything ready? Can I prove, do I have a good choice? But can I be proud of the application is a good question to ask yourself. So just a really quick example from one of my advisees. I was working with him. Actually, there's several students that this has happened before, but working with students, and then they wanted to apply early, whether it's decision or whether it's action. They're applying early, and then in one example, a student came to me a week before the deadline and said, I changed my essay. I completely revamped it. Let's look at it. I looked at it and I said, I no longer support you for early decision or early action because this is very different. We need to work on this more. I don't think in one week before the deadline, you can make this as perfect as it should be. So I think those are things to think about. It's early decision, early action is not the time to have a last minute epiphany. But, if you have an epiphany, sure, but, run it by your counselors and make sure that it's all good. So I do have those examples. Like students were really ready, but at the last minute, a few things fell through, and I said, don't do early because you're not going to be proud of that application. So things that you should do next. Number one, continue to look at your options. There are different types of institutions. We've talked about a few, but definitely look into them. Liberal arts colleges, if you've never heard of them before, check them out because I love them. If you're concerned about funding, for example, community colleges, look at those transfer agreements because they're wonderful. But really look at those options. The second thing you can do is look at the fine print. Look at those early action or early decision fine print things, or look at the application information and all of the requirements. Look at those. And then I'm sure that your school has options, but really make a chart of those admissions options. And then also those fine print details. And because once you see it in one place, it really helps frame, like, should I do early? Should I not do early? What kinds of activities should I do this fall because I have to prepare for applications? And then I really recommend, my last tip is to make time to map out the fall. So the big example that I use is if you go to the movies, you probably will travel to the theater, take 20, 30 minutes, and then you'll watch a movie for anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours. And then maybe you'll eat dinner, that's another hour. You'll hang out with your friends, that's another hour. So essentially that's kind of 5 or so hours of you just hanging out and having a good time. And generally, if your mom or dad calls you, you won't answer the phone during that time. So, like in a movie, you're not going to answer the phone, right? So I think make that same commitment as you kind of map out your fall and look at your application requirements. Just say for the next 2 or 3 hours, put it on your calendar, like right now before you leave the auditorium, put on your calendar on this day for 2 or 3 hours, I'm going to just look at apps and map it out. And then during that time, my mom can't bother me, my dad can't bother me, I won't answer the phone, I won't look at social media, the dog can't come in the room, all of those things. Map it out, make time. Don't wait for time to come, make time. So I'll stop there and I'll just say thank you. And this is my email address, but we will also give your team our contact information and more information from Education USA, as well as an outline of this presentation. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for listening. We have some time for some questions. We still have some reminders, but we're going to let Education USA go, but we are going to send you their contact information and some resources that they are going to have for us. Thank you, Vinny and Minji. Say goodbye to our auditorium. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Okay, Miss Zion.
All right, just a small reminder for parents, I'll say. So there are our tip that we want to deliver to the parents. We want to encourage our students and your children that they can come to the counselor and then share their concern and anything. Please assist your children creating the university list worksheet. If they are struggling, please just ask, oh, how are you doing with the list? So with the nice words, maybe just encourage and help if they are having a hard time deciding. And please help your children with financial aid or scholarship information. And if you feel comfortable, please share those with us so that we can assist accordingly. And please listen to your children and their heart and just be with them at all times. There are, the other hand, there are do not ones. Do not take over the process, please. I think this is really good lesson for the children to be independent in a sense and find their path. Of course, the counselor and the parents are going to be there to support, but we are not the person driving the car. And please do not work on applications or essays for your children. Please do not allow anyone else to work on your children's essays or application. So there, very briefly, I do understand that maybe there are some times that you get to go and seek out for the consultant. Something I can confidently say is that your child is spending the most of awake time at school. Although I may look new, but I have worked with many different kind of students, and I've been meeting so many students. I don't want to point out a couple of students, but I've been meeting some of them more than 5 times this past 2 weeks. I love it. I will get to know very deeply about them, and I'll make sure that I will support every single steps. So trust the counselors at school. Trust the ones who go and reach out to the university representative, and we make connections so that we can support your children better on campus. That's something we can promise. We're not promising any certain so-and-so and name college, but we are promising that we will do our best to find the fit. Sorry, my clicker was a little wrong. So when you are thinking about the college from now and later up till September 5th, please work on at home and maybe talk to your counselor about your list. Maybe you're looking for a particular location, maybe like some financial aid, size, whether major, specific program or country and so on. We are open here to support anywhere the students wants to go. And I know, I'm sorry I'm taking a couple more time. I want to make it clear when I said about earlier when we were getting it ready, this past 2 weeks, what I've been realizing is everybody, you don't realize how special you are and how talented and young with potential you are. So find the gem inside you. That's what I meant. When I meant focus on something you're really good at, it doesn't mean that you compare with somebody else and make it like, I'm proud of myself or anything. It just says, find the gem, and we're here to find with you if you feel like you're lost, okay? Thank you for the answer. And the last one, application checklist. First, considering to applying on Maya Learning, yes, work with your counselor. There's a portal. Maybe you put a few colleges already. We're going to work together to move that into applying. And make sure that you are on top of your application, what's required, and so on. Your standardized test score is really important. And you have to send it directly because they require official submission. Some of the schools may take your unofficial score that you put on the Common App, but you'll eventually have to send the official scores, SAT, TOEFL, the same as other things. Writing section and or supplemental section. Don't miss out anything. So check every single thing. For particular major, you will have to have additional supplemental essay, like for example, for business program. Teacher recommendations are really important, but we've already checked this portion. And counselor evaluation is the same way as well. Application fee, will make sure that when you apply through Common App particularly, it's a little confusing. So when you apply, make sure that you pay the fee, and it's paid from the credit card or any account, and then you're complete with the application. And then one reminder for the transcript request form, we'll be sharing this, and when you need transcript for certain colleges, make sure to fill out the form.
Before we finish with the application checklist, just know that for each of your university on your list, we will attach this application checklist to see what's applicable to each of the university and what's not. And then we will go through it one by one together so that you don't miss out on any of these things that are required. Is that understood? Thumbs up? All right. Okay, overall reminder for everybody, remember, set up an appointment with your counselor monthly at minimum. Communicate with your parents. Be aware of deadlines. Attend virtual and in-person college fairs and information sessions. You've already received some of those emails that we've sent. Confirm with teachers regarding your recommendation letters. If they're not on Common App, some of the applications may require teachers to send them separately. Communicate with your counselors if that's the thing. Then we need to ask your recommenders to send those directly to universities on special occasions only. We may be able to tell you when those are. Don't give your application portal login information to anyone, just like you won't give your bank account information to anyone. Please don't do that. And most importantly, enjoy your senior year. And lastly, we have this. Please scan parent information session feedback form. We want your feedback on how this went. Only for parents. Students, you don't have to do it. But if you want to, do it. Go do it. And now we have some questions. If you have some questions, we'll stay a little bit. But thank you so much for your time. We'll send you all the resources soon enough. Ms. Soyan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when you walk outside the auditorium, I want you to have something in your heart. Oh, I want to work on this. I want to ask my counselor about this. So I hope you walk away with some hope and curiosity and eagerness and everything. Thank you for spending your awesome evening. And again, we'll be staying here to answer some questions. So thank you so much.
Go class of 2026. Thank you so much. Bye.
Fighting.
Let's do it. Oh, wait. Oh, please do the form, parents. Thank you. 감사합니다.